This video is brought to you by ncix.com. Great technology, selection, and service. Hello everyone, I'm Dimitri with Canucks, and there comes a time when you need something different, something fresh, but also acting as a reasonable and functional, that's very important, upgrade. I say this because I'm in the process of upgrading my current workstation PC that I use to edit all of our Canucks videos, that is also acting as my test bench as well, and used to run everything that you see behind me. So the list of upgrades is not very long. Main one being is the transitioning of all of my hardware and drives from one of my favorite cases, the NZXT H440. I've got the white one here ever since release, into a white Phanteks Enthoo Luxe. Aesthetically though, I still prefer the H440 over the my current upgrade, as it is the best minimalist design on the market right now. And I'm not making the switch because I'm unhappy with my current case selection, but the Enthoo Luxe gives me a little bit extra flexibility. One of those flexibilities is extra storage capacity. A total of 6 drive caddies that I can put in there, plus 1 more inside the optical bay, and 2 SSD brackets on the back, while the H440 has 1 less drive caddy for a total of 5. And while it's not a big difference, I still need to add more storage to my workstation with our recent switch to 4K. Plus the slightly roomier interior on the Luxe, the better lighting integration, and hopefully better cooling results are all reasons for this upgrade. I've also got 2 extra 140mm Phanteks fans to go inside the machine, and really super excited to put these awesome lighting strips in there as well. I will be replacing my overkill 1000 watt power supply for something more efficient with less total wattage, the Corsair AX760i to be specific, and our friends at Cable Mod hooked us up with the latest black and white cable set, so we pimp out this workstation build right. But let's see if it's all worth it. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to point out is how awesome the H440 stacked up against heavy dust. I kept the tower on the floor, and look at just how much those dust filters picked up, both at the front, on the side, and at the bottom. And despite the smaller interior, everything fits in nicely, and I gotta say I will miss the H440, but I've got other plans to recycle this gorgeous tower. But it was time to disassemble so I can get this upgrade started. First came out all of my drives out of this terrible cable mess, and that is one huge disadvantage of the H440. The back clearance is very limiting. Unplug the corresponding SATA cables from the motherboard, and all my 5 populated trays are free to explore a new home. Next, my GTX 980 has to take a break, and all the cables must be unplugged from the motherboard. I unscrewed the top cooler first. This is the NZXT X61 with a 280mm radiator, followed by freeing the motherboard, and the H440 looks extremely lonely, but it's time for all this hardware to find a new home. And the Enthoo Luxe in white was the perfect choice that still carries that metallic white exterior, just like on the H440. I love the swivel side panels that open like car doors on the Luxe, and the internal power supply bracket that will make my job easier for cable management. First, I removed all the drive caddies and installed my 9TB of total storage spread through 4 3.5-inch drives. I'm almost at full capacity on those and might actually need to replace my low capacity 1TB drive for another 4TB drive. Then I quickly installed my dual 256GB Samsung 850 Pros on 2 SSD brackets, and it was time for all this storage to go to their respective places inside the Luxe. I love the SSD placement in particular inside the case. This is an awesome utilization of the space. Next, I removed the power supply cover to install our 760 watt unit. Plus, let's not forget the rear I/O shield. And finally, it was time to lower the motherboard and get that secured. Lastly, I installed the second row of 140mm fans on top for push-pull with the all-in-one cooler, and here comes the fun part. all the cable management. I say fun because the interior is designed to handle water cooling no problem, and thus is significantly larger than my previous case selection. And this makes cable routing a total breeze. Plus, I am using the black-white kit from Cable Mod, and thanks to the entirely modular power supply, I can minimize the total cable clutter. So I could leave the power supply cover out because all the exiting cables are nice and tidy. I even bundled up the long 6-pin PCI Express cables to keep order. And check this out, the build is ready and I could not be happier with how this turned out. I did place the power supply cover back on to hide the red on the power supply, and while it's not a totally color match to the white theme build, the blue accents on the motherboard give this build a little bit extra character. And I am planning on switching towards the X99 platform sometime in the future, so leave your hardware suggestions below to complement a future upgrade. The optional lighting strips from Fantex turned out quite useful as they are adhesive and connect to one of the lighting cables that's already built into the case, and I'll show you what they look like in just a moment. But first, check out that cable management. Remember, I am utilizing all of my drive slots, so it's not the most tidy thing ever, but most importantly, look at how flat all the cables are to the back panel. And I had no issues connecting both SSDs, as I thought that the distance might be too large between them for a standard multi-SATA cable. And here she is, fully lit and operational. Luckily, no funky noises upon first boot, means I did everything right, and my only gripe with this entire build is the adhesive on the lighting strip that isn't very strong in some sections, but that would be out of the view with the window on. It's definitely worth the extra ambience the internal lighting adds, especially with the tinted window that looks fantastic. And one of the main reasons why I added the optional lighting strips is the multicolor support on the Luxe. With the press of button, I can cycle through this range of options to suit your mood or color-coded build, plus the soft built-in strips running on each side at the front and above makes the chassis really stand out from the rest of the offerings. But that is pretty much it for my workstation upgrade build log. We hope you enjoyed, and feel free to share your upgrade suggestions for the future and just general thoughts on this machine with a comment below. And make sure to subscribe for an upgraded office desk setup tour coming your way. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.